After being left with a surprisingly good impression after my last long-haul flight with Jetstar, I had relatively high hopes for this flight, but those hopes would remain just that. From pretty filthy seats to broken in-flight entertainment screens, come along and see what my experience flying from Melbourne to Singapore in Jetstar's 787 economy class was like. Welcome to Melbourne International Airport. I'm here at Terminal 2, where all of the international passenger flights depart from. Once I got into the terminal, I went to check the departure boards to find check-in, but my flight wasn't quite on there yet. I did end up finding the information, but on a different board. I also saw some flights which had been diverted from Adelaide Airport. Check-in for my flight today was at aisle K. I don't think I've used this area before. It's self-check-in and bag drop. It was pretty easy and took less than 10 minutes for myself and everyone I was travelling with. I think there was people around if you needed help. Security today was busy. It took about 23 minutes or so. Through security, there's plenty of duty-free shopping, as well as some cafes and other shops. But thanks to my Qantas Gold status, I was able to use the Qantas Business Lounge. I'm not going to look at this lounge in detail, because I've done that a few times before. But in short, the staff were friendly. I think I heard them say that the lounge was almost at full capacity. The airport was busy today. The selection of food was the normal average to decent. When they brought fresh pastries out though, they were yum. Lastly, the space isn't that nice unfortunately, and the furniture is old and a bit battered. They made an announcement for our flight, but boarding hadn't started yet when they did. But I went to the gate because of this. My ride to Singapore will be Victor Hotel, Victor Kilo Alpha. It's a 2013 built Boeing 787-8, delivered new to Jetstar Airways. This is the oldest Boeing 787 in Jetstar's fleet. There's a VH-Jet A321neo, which was one of the flights that diverted from Adelaide. By the way, this footage was not taken when I went to the gate for boarding, rather when I went there earlier. A very short delay was announced. It sounds like due to crew finishing prep. Going to the pre-boarding area for priority business class passengers was announced at 11:34, with from memory the rest of economy then being done by row numbers. Thank you. After a friendly enough welcome from the crew, welcome on board Jetstar's Boeing 787-8 with 314 Collins Aerospace Pinnacle seats in the standard 333 layout. There's a mini cabin of economy between business and the main cabin, which is where I'll be seated today in seat 12A. There's also 21 recliner seats in business class in a 232 layout. Once I got to my seat, there was something stuck to my seat. I'm not sure if it was crumbs or what it was. By the way, the cabin was on the warmer side when I first got on board. By the way, this was some crumbs and wear and tear on one of the seats in the row in front. Now, I'll quickly show you the seat features. Legroom is very average at around 30 inches. Keep in mind I'm 5'3", 5'4", something like that. There's a seat back pocket containing the safety card, the menu, and a sick bag. And down there to the side of the seat, that is gross. And this was on the side of my seat. This was on the overhead panels. There's a tray table, which was also a bit dirty. There's an in-flight entertainment screen, which is on the smaller side but not too bad. Then beneath it there's an audio port and a USB-A port. The screen is not adjustable. There actually does appear to be overhead individual adjustable air vents. I believe there to be 2 universal power sockets for every 3 seats. There's a headrest which is adjustable both vertically and on the sides. Recline is also pretty decent. Now here's a quick look at the menu. You can pause and read if you'd like. As usual, the menu has a good range of food and drinks. It's slightly more expensive than if you pre-order these things online, but prices are otherwise okay for an Australian airline.
Our flight time to Singapore is approximately 7 hours and 30 minutes. We are here to make sure you have a safe and comfortable flight. So if there's anything you need, please let us know.
I later found this chewing gum on the side of my seat.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for departure. Yesterday the entertainment team will read the instructions on your screen. Cabin crew on board.
It's now time for pushback, 7 minutes behind schedule.
In preparation for takeoff, it is important that you are familiar with the safety feature of this Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft. Please watch the crew member close to you and listen carefully.
If you enjoyed the content I put out, and this video so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It would help out the channel and also me a ton, and would help these videos to be shown to more people. But if you don't want to, that's completely okay.
For the flight tickets request on welcome aboard JETSTAR'S 7 through to Singapore. We're just running a couple of checklists, which are going to take another 5 or so minutes, just to guarantee that we do them carefully and correctly. It's just, we're going to turn a few things off and on. Anyway, we should be on our way within around, as I said, 5 to 10 minutes. Short taxi, departing from MEL-SIN-MEL. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy the flight. And once again, thanks for your patience.
If they said they needed to turn something off and on, that sounds to me like they need to fix a very minor problem, but that's just a guess. It sounded like they just turned off and on the packs or something. Maybe I'm completely off. Let me know if you know. Then I also thought it sounded like the engines were being restarted or something. I'm not sure. It's now time for takeoff on runway 27. after takeoff, we were offered earphones for free. I think it was free for everyone upon request, but I'm not too sure. So it sounds like there was a technical issue after all. By the way, I was told about the voucher which was included in my bundle, which I knew about, but it was good to be reminded. Before the service, I tried to take a look at the in-flight entertainment screen, but it was being a bit irresponsive. I struggled to hear some of the PA on this flight. At very roughly 1:25, I spotted crew at the other aisles with a trolley. My order was taken just after 1:50. I asked for a free cup of water, and the crew I asked smiled. Possibly, and this is just a theory, because he was like, he knows. Because you don't have to pay for water on Australian Airlines. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a requirement for free water to be provided. For lunch, I got a toastie and a chai, which was included in my bundle. I thought the toastie packaging and the toastie itself looked better than in the past. It didn't taste much better than I remember, but maybe the bread was a little better. The chai was as good as I remembered though. Rubbish collection got to me at around 2:21. I then went to check out the lavatory, which was a decent size, and was in okay condition for being a couple hours into the flight. The windows were dimmed, I assume by the crew, but not locked, which was cool. A little over 3 hours before when it said we'd be landing, one of the crew came around, not sure if it was to everyone, to offer water. With the window being dimmed, although it wasn't locked, the windows kept getting re-dimmed, and then not long after I wrote that note, it got locked, or maybe it was just not working. Either way, I couldn't change it. But not long later, I was then able to adjust it again. Around this time, I think we were flying over near Lombok Airport. I'm not sure why the videos I was filming out of the window were so yellow. And not long later, we passed by what I believe was the beautiful Mount Agung. I think we took a bit of a shortcut, so we didn't fly directly over Bali Airport. At around 6:30, a PA announcement was made. I assumed they were saying they were coming around for the service, but I couldn't hear it very well. I think they served pre-ordered meals first, so I got my lasagna at 6:34 or so. The lasagna was surprisingly good for an airplane meal. I'm not a huge lasagna fan, but I did enjoy it and thought it was better than my memory of the noodles, which was the other main meal option. Though, whatever the top pasta layer thingy was quite mushy, but not a big deal. Only hot drinks were served with pre-ordered meals. I got a green tea. The green tea was solid, I guess. Nothing special. There was a bit of light-ish turbulence getting close to near the Java Sea, which I think is somewhat common. A final rubbish collection service was conducted just over an hour prior to landing. As we descend into Singapore, please allow me to conclude today's flight with Jetstar. Check-in in Melbourne was great. I thought self-check-in seemed to work pretty well, at least for this flight. I didn't think boarding ended up being that late, and it was done by groups based on business class and then I think row number. The seat features were fine for a low-cost carrier. Excluding the legroom, I would actually say above average. However, I was not impressed with how dirty my seat was, and it seemed some other parts of the cabin were at least a little dirty too. I don't think I need to go through everything that was dirty again, as I did that earlier. Also, the in-flight entertainment screen on my seat was difficult to use. Maybe if I tried for a while, I might have been able to get the page I wanted to be on. But I couldn't be bothered, as most of the time the screen would action a completely different button to the one I pressed. If you'd like to get a better idea of what can be on it, you can check out my review from earlier this year. Even if the screen works, you have to pay for full access, and the selection isn't incredible from memory. So I'd suggest downloading some movies before the flight if you can. The first in-flight service wasn't done super slowly, but it wasn't done super quick either. The toasty was decent, and the chai was tasty. I thought the cabin temperature was pretty good. Also, at least the bathroom wasn't horribly dirty, but at the end the bin was full and starting to overflow. I felt as though the second service was a little quicker. The lasagna I had was good, and the green tea was standard. I thought the crew was friendly, but wouldn't go as far as to say very friendly. Overall, I had a very average flight with Jetstar. The ground experience was fine, but on the plane, although some parts were decent for a low-cost carrier, there was also parts of this flight that left me disappointed. This flight wasn't as good as my flights to Ho Chi Minh City last year. I hope it's not common for Jetstar's planes to be as dirty as this plane was, because it's really not good. The entertainment screen not working properly was annoying too. If it wasn't for the dirtiness, I'd still recommend Jetstar's Boeing 787, as particularly on this route, flights can be very cheap. But I don't really know what to say because of how dirty it was. We'll soon pull into the gate in Singapore, roughly 24 minutes late. But for now, enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Singapore Changi Airport's runway 20 right.
And remain seated until the seatbelt sign has been switched off. Smoking, vaping and e-cigarettes are strictly prohibited during disembarkation and inside terminal building. Before you head off, double check you have everything with you. Be careful when opening the overhead lockers. Item may have moved during the flight. We would like to take this opportunity to thank you for choosing to fly with Jetstar today. It has been our pleasure having you fly with us. We hope that you include Jetstar in your future travels. Once again, if you are visiting, welcome to Singapore. And if you are returning, welcome home. Thank you and have a great evening.
Cabin crew signed off.
As we disembark, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching today's video. I posted updates of this trip on my Instagram at aviation763_, so feel free to check that out if you like. I'd like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support truly means so much to me, and I couldn't do what I do without them, so thank you so much to them. Once again, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one next Saturday at 5 PM Melbourne time.